The sun was dipping below the horizon, painting the sky over Route 17 in shades of amber and violet. Marcus Langston, a 38-year-old man with a neatly trimmed beard and a charcoal suit, drove his silver Audi through the quiet outskirts of Willow Creek, a small town in northern Alabama. He was on his way to a new chapter in his career, one he'd spent years preparing for. His phone, resting in the center console, pinged with a reminder, meeting with Mayor Caldwell. 8 a.m. tomorrow. Marcus adjusted his glasses and kept his eyes on the road, his jazz playlist humming softly through the speakers. He wasn't speeding. His license plates were current, his taillights functional. Yet, as he glanced in his rearview mirror, a flash of red and blue lights appeared behind him. A police cruiser, its siren silent, but its presence loud, signaled for him to pull over. Marcus sighed, a familiar weight settling in his chest. He'd been here before, not in Willow Creek, but in other towns, other states. He eased the car onto the gravel shoulder, turned off the engine, and placed both hands on the steering wheel. Visible and still, two officers emerged from the cruiser. The first, Officer Travis Boone, was a weary man in his early 40s, with a sunburned neck and a habit of chewing gum aggressively. His partner, Officer Dale Carver, was broader, with a shaved head and a smirk that seemed permanently etched on his face. Boone approached the driver's side, his flashlight already flicking across Marcus's car, while Carver lingered near the passenger door, scanning the interior. Evening, Boone said. His tone clipped. License, registration, proof of insurance. Marcus nodded, his voice steady. Of course, officer. He reached for the glove compartment slowly, announcing each movement. I'm getting my registration and insurance now. He handed over the documents, along with his driver's license, which Boone snatched without a word. Where you headed? Boone asked, squinting at the license as if it might reveal a secret. Willow Creek, Marcus replied. Business. Meeting tomorrow morning. Carver leaned closer to the passenger window, eyeing the leather satchel on the seat. Business, huh? Fancy car for a place like this. What's in the bag? Laptop, some files, a charger, Marcus said, keeping his tone neutral. Work stuff. Boone handed the license to Carver, who studied it with exaggerated care. Marcus Langston, Carver read aloud, drawing out the syllables. You from around here? No, sir. Marcus said, just passing through for work. Boone tapped his flashlight against his palm. Mind if we take a look inside the car? Marcus's jaw tightened, but his voice remained calm. I'd prefer you didn't, unless you have a reason. The air shifted, Carver's smirk faded, and Boone's eyes narrowed. You got a problem with us doing our job? Boone asked, stepping closer. I'm just asking for clarity, officer, Marcus said. Am I being detained? Boone didn't answer directly. Instead, he motioned to Carver, who opened the passenger door without permission. Step out of the vehicle, Carver said, his voice sharp. Marcus complied, moving deliberately, his hands visible. A pickup truck slowed as it passed, the driver craning his neck to watch. Marcus stood by the hood of his car, his suit jacket slightly wrinkled from the drive. Boone began a pat-down, his grip firm, while Carver rifled through the satchel, pulling out a notebook and flipping through it. State job, you said? Carver asked, holding up the notebook. What kind of state job requires a suit and a car like this? Administrative, Marcus replied, his eyes fixed on the horizon. I'm meeting with city officials. Boone snorted. City officials, right? You know how many times we hear that. People like you always got a story. Marcus said nothing, his silence a shield. He'd learned long ago that arguing in moments like this rarely helped. Carver tossed the notebook back into the satchel. Clean, he muttered to Boone, who stepped back, clearly disappointed. You're free to go, Boone said finally, his tone begrudging. But watch yourself around here. We keep an eye on strangers, Marcus nodded, sliding back into the driver's seat. I always do, he said quietly, starting the engine. As he pulled away, the cruiser's lights still burned in his rearview mirror, but he didn't look back. He drove the remaining 5 miles to Willow Creek's police station, where he parked in a reserved spot near the back entrance. He sat for a moment, not out of anger, but to collect his thoughts. Tomorrow was a big day, and he needed to decide how to handle what had just happened. Inside the station, the night shift was winding down. Officers milled about, their radios crackling with static. Marcus stepped through the doors, his suit now paired with a lanyard bearing his ID badge. The desk sergeant barely glanced up, but two figures froze near the break room, Boone and Carver. Still in uniform, their coffee cups paused mid-sip. Recognition flickered in their eyes, followed by a dawning unease Marcus didn't acknowledge. Them, he headed straight for the chief's office, his steps measured, his satchel swinging lightly at his side. Chief Evelyn Harper, a no-nonsense woman in her early 60s with a reputation for fairness, stood to greet him. "Marcus," she said warmly, shaking his hand, "you're early. How was the drive? Interesting." Marcus said, setting his satchel on her desk. "I had a run-in with 2 of your officers on Route 17. No probable cause, just a lot of questions and an unauthorized search attempt." Harper's face hardened. "You're serious?" "Very," Marcus said. "Officers Boone and Carver. They didn't know who I was, but they made assumptions. I'd like to meet them tomorrow, no heads up." Harper nodded, her jaw tight. "You've got it." "And Marcus, I brought you here to clean house. Sounds like you've already got a head start." Marcus allowed a small smile. "Let's just say I'm motivated." The next morning, the Willow Creek Police Department buzzed with the usual pre-shift chaos. Officers swapped stories over stale donuts, their voices echoing in the cramped break room. Marcus sat in a conference room down the hall, his badge and a stack of folders arranged neatly before him. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a sterile glow on the chip table. He'd spent the night reviewing the department's internal reports, noting patterns of complaints, many involving Boone and Carver. Chief Harper entered, followed by Boone and Carver, who looked like they'd rather be facing a firing squad. Boone's gum-chewing had stopped, and Carver's smirk was nowhere to be found. They sat across from Marcus, their postures rigid. "Officers," Harper began, her voice steady. "This is Marcus Langston, our new Director of Internal Affairs. He started today, but it seems you've already met." Boone's face paled. Carver shifted, his hands gripping the table's edge. Marcus leaned forward, his gaze calm but unyielding. "Last night, you pulled me over on Route 17. No traffic violation, no probable cause. You searched my bag without consent and made comments about my appearance and my car. Care to explain?" Carver opened his mouth, then closed it. Boone cleared his throat. "We were just doing our job, sir." "Routine stop." "Routine?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You targeted me because I didn't fit your idea of who belongs in Willow Creek. That's not routine. That's bias." Harper remained silent, letting Marcus take the lead. He opened a folder, revealing a list of complaints. In the last year, this department has had 19 civilian complaints, 11 of which name one or both of you. Traffic stops with no documented reason, searches without warrants, intimidation. Sound familiar? Boone crossed his arms. "We're just thorough. This town's got issues: drugs, theft. We can't take chances." Marcus didn't blink. "You took a chance last night, and you were wrong. I'm not here to play games." Your body cam footage from the past 6 months is being pulled as we speak. Every stop, every report, every interaction. If there's a pattern, I'll find it. Carver's voice was low. "So this is personal now?" "No," Marcus said. "It's professional. You swore an oath to serve, not to harass. If you can't uphold that, you won't wear that badge much longer." Harper finally spoke. "Marcus has full authority to investigate misconduct. You're both on administrative review. Effective immediately. Cooperate, or you're out." The officers exchanged a glance, their bravado crumbling. Marcus stood, gathering his folders. "We're done for now, but I'll be watching." As he left the room, the weight of their stares followed him. He didn't need their fear, he needed their accountability. And he was just getting started. Marcus's temporary office was a small, cluttered space with a single window overlooking the parking lot. He spent the next 2 days combing through records, cross-referencing body cam footage with written reports. The patterns were clear. Boone and Carver weren't outliers. The department had a culture of unchecked discretion, where gut feelings justified stops and searches, often targeting minorities. On the 3rd day, An anonymous email arrived with a zip file containing chem clips. One showed Carver berating a young black woman for a broken taillight, his tone mocking as she apologized repeatedly. Another captured Boone conducting a search without asking for consent, tossing a driver's belongings onto the pavement. Marcus saved the files, noting their metadata. Someone inside the department was helping him. He tracked the email to Officer Lena Torres, a rookie who joined the force 6 months ago. Marcus found her in the records room, organizing files. "Lena," he said, closing the door, "you sent me those clips. Why?" She hesitated, then met his eyes. "I've seen how they operate. It's not right. I didn't sign up to watch people get humiliated. You're taking a risk." Marcus said, "But I need more. Names, dates, anything you've overheard." Lena nodded. "There's a group of them, Boone, Carver, a couple others. They call it keeping the town clean. It's code for targeting anyone who doesn't look like them." Marcus thanked her and returned to his office, adding her information to his growing file. That afternoon, he addressed the entire department during roll call. Standing at the front of the room, he spoke plainly. "I'm not here to tear you down. I'm here to rebuild trust. But that starts with accountability. If you're cutting corners, targeting people based on appearance, or abusing your power, I will find you, and I will act." The room was silent. Some officers nodded, others avoided his gaze. Boone and Carver stood in the back, their faces unreadable. Marcus ended with a promise: "This department will serve everyone, or it will answer to me." By the end of the week, Marcus had enough evidence to act. The body cam footage, combined with Lena's testimony and civilian complaints, painted a damning picture. Boone and Carver were suspended pending a full investigation, and 2 other officers were flagged for similar violations. Marcus presented his findings to Chief Harper and Mayor Caldwell, who approved a department-wide retraining program focused on bias and de-escalation. But Marcus's work went beyond punishment. He met with community leaders, listening to their stories of distrust and fear. He proposed a public forum where residents could voice concerns directly to the department, a first for Willow Creek. The event drew a crowd, with Marcus standing alongside Harper, absorbing every word. On his final day, Marcus walked through the station one last time. Officers who'd once avoided him now offered cautious nods. Lena approached him, her expression grateful. "You're making a difference," she said. "It's a start," Marcus replied. "Keep pushing. You're the future of this place." As he drove out of Willow Creek, Marcus reflected on his own past. At 19, he'd been stopped and frisked for looking suspicious while walking to his college dorm. The humiliation had fueled his career, leading him to law school, then internal affairs. He wasn't here to settle scores, he was here to ensure no one else felt that same powerlessness. Back on Route 17, the road stretched ahead, open and free. Marcus turned up his jazz playlist and smiled. The fight wasn't over, but he'd left Willow Creek better than he'd found it, and that was enough for now.